A lesson in economics taxpayers are learning the hard way. A new report out today showing college dropouts cost states $6 billion, more than $9 billion when you include federal money. But Robert Enlow says that number isn't quite right. In reality, it's much higher. And another way, the government is burning your money. Robert is the president and CEO of Foundation for Educational Choice. Robert, thanks for joining us tonight. Much higher than $9 billion. Give us the bad news.
Thanks for having me, Charles. Look, the government is in a real problem here with higher education. Milton Friedman, our founder, said that only the government can take great paper, mix it with great ink, and make the combination useless, and that's exactly what's happening to federal loans for college and college degrees. Look, what we've got here is a federal financing bubble of college education. The federal government is putting out a lot of paper on debt. They're financing education loans at a very low rate. They're giving them to students who are either unprepared or uninterested in completing college. And when these kids leave, they have a huge federal debt that they'll never pay off. All the while, public institutions are raising their cost of tuition to meet the government subsidy. It's a problem just like the housing market that can't keep going on.
Although, you know, I've looked at data, and this makes a housing bubble look like nothing. I guess against inflation over the last 20 years, college tuition is up like 200% more?
Yeah, so college has to set its own inflationary rate. That's how much they're increasing the cost to meet government subsidy. They're not even using the regular inflation rate that we all use. They're using their own inflation rate. And look, the problem is even worse when you consider all the problems in K-12 education. College Board reports that half of all entering freshmen in America need remediation. This is a problem we're already paying twice for before you even get to college. So once in a failed public education and once in remediation. This cost is astronomical.
So in other words, even though these kids aren't prepared, we're still pushing them through, and it's inevitable they're going to drop out anyway. Why is the government pushing them through and knowing that we're going to take such large economic losses anyway?
Well, look, the government has a desire to have everyone have a college education. Well, if that's the case, they should just give everyone a college degree at birth, right, if that's what they want. But the fact is a BA has to mean something. The college education that we get is something that the government should strive for, and we should try and get as many people as we can, but they should be prepared for it. And what's happening is just like it happened in the housing bubble, right? We're getting too many people owning loans or too many people owning houses that just aren't prepared to pay for it.
You think if the government got out of the way, it would A, save taxpayers money, but B, maybe kids who would go to school were the ones who were really qualified and would not drop out in the first place?
Well, absolutely, the government should. We should end the government financing monopoly of higher education, just like we should end the government education monopoly in K-12 schools. Look, kids need more choices of K-12 education, and we need not to have a financing monopoly in higher education. We should encourage more options with loans. And frankly, kids who go to college should be more aware of the actual cost and more responsible for the actual cost. They should have some skin in the game, too.
Well, you say they should have some skin in the game, but we hear all the nightmare stories about how it takes 10, 20 years for these kids to pay off their college loans. You think they learn about this, they would know a little bit about this before going in?
Well, you would think so, but they're not getting the full understanding of what it costs to have a college education. Moreover, now they don't have to pay back the full cost of their loan because the current administration wants to forgive their loans after a certain period of time. I mean, the math doesn't add up when the administration says you can forgive your loan in 20 years, but you can only pay 10% of your loan per year. That math just doesn't work for the American taxpayer that's going to carry billions of dollars of debt.
Robert, how do you do that, though? How do you get these kids then to go to school and to stay beyond the freshman year, you know, having more skin in the game? How do you actually pull that off?
Well, that's a great question, Charles, and as I understand, you're involved in charter schools, so you know the answer to this. The answer to this is get high-quality K-12 schools where everyone is involved, from the teacher to the principal to the family, and make sure these kids are really prepared to go to school. I mean, that's the thing we need to do, is fix our K-12 education system, make sure there's lots of choices, and make sure there's lots of opportunities, and that's where we're going to fix our higher education system. All
right, Robert, well, I'm glad you watched the show, so you know. Okay. Thanks a lot.
Thanks
now,
for
listen,
having me.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. That is an amazing billions of dollars on kids who probably didn't want to go to college in the first place and certainly weren't prepared.
That's right.
Thanks a lot, Robert.